Thank you. We are live. There it is, top of my screen. Welcome, everyone, to the meeting of the Baltimore County Delegation on this day, the 6th of February. It is relevant that we count down the number of days to the end of session, and there are 7 days left in session this year. Okay. Um, Sorry, I couldn't help it. I'm trying to ruin it for all the kids because once we like it, they don't anymore. I think that moment may have actually completely passed already. We have several things to do today. We're going to have a briefing. We're going to have 5 bill hearings, and we're going to vote on 2 bills. And so to that end, I'm happy to welcome, we've seen him before, ladies and gentlemen. He's back again for repeat performance. Congressman in the 2nd District of Maryland's congressional districts, Congressman Johnny Olszewski, former county executive, former state delegate. We're proud to claim as a delegate. Real quick before you start, at the top, and Mr. Olszewski, this might resonate with you. A delegate from a good distance back has passed. Donnie Minnick has passed. He was 100 years old. Sonny Minnick was related to him. It's not him, but we should always mention those that were among us that have passed. And so there we go. If you remember him, great. If not, it's good for us to remember him in general. And with that, sorry to have interrupted the introduction, Congressman.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's good to be with you and members of the Baltimore County House delegation. One of the proudest titles or former titles that I carry with me still to this day. I just echo your thoughts and prayers to the Minnick family on their passing. Many of us had the privilege to serve with Sonny Minnick, and it's been my pleasure to share a district with Sonny and the Minnick family. So my condolences to them, and hope that his memory may be a blessing. I want to also thank Speaker Emeritus Jones for her partnership and leadership, and all of you for the incredible work that you do leading a delegation that is such an important group who do really incredible work day in and day out. It's been a privilege and honor to serve with many of you in the past and to continue to this day in the United States Congress. I'll start just by opening by saying just how much I love representing my home jurisdiction in the United States Congress, and what a blessing it is to share the lessons that we learn together, both in the House, but also working with you as county executive in Congress. And so we know that today we continue to work alongside many of you to address our shared constituents' needs. I will say, if you have any issues or concerns, please continue to let us know. I know many of you have been working with Christopher Yule on my team, who's our Director of Intergovernmental Affairs, and please continue to reach out if there are other needs. I really, from my time in the House and as county executive, has prioritized being in the district as much as I can. Obviously, I have to be in DC for votes and hearings, but really proud to have our district office being anchored in the heart of the county seat in Towson still. We have our team at events throughout every week in Baltimore County, and we've also held dozens of forums and town halls across Baltimore County and the entire Maryland 2nd District. I'm really proud of what we've been able to do together in that work. And most recently, we have some big wins, and this is breaking news, good news for Baltimore County in terms of community appropriations that were put as part of the most recent budget process. And I was proud to deliver big wins. And so for those on the east side of Baltimore County, we have $850,000 coming to improve the runway at Martin State Airport. That was just signed into law recently. We have $250,000 on the west side going to replace lampposts along the Main Street, along the Reisterstown Main Street corridor. And so excited to have delivered that win. And the biggest tranche of money coming to Baltimore County, and this has been a longstanding issue, both when I was in the House and as county executive, Dolefield. The Dolefield Exchange has continued to be a priority for all of us. And I'm proud to say today that there is $2 million coming to the Dolefield Exchange for Baltimore County and the state of Maryland to continue that work to move us forward. So looking forward to continuing working with you all on the community funding requests. I will have Chris send to the delegation, Mr. Chairman. We have some upcoming open houses so that we would encourage members to send their staffs or community organizations that are interested in next year's community funding projects to reach out to our office. Just last week, we were in Carroll County as well, doing some wins on veterans and a food pantry. So excited for the big wins we're delivering. And, we're going to continue that work. But you know, as we're proud of that, I know that there are no shortage of challenges that we're all dealing with together. And from my perspective, the single largest issue that we're dealing with is the cost of living crisis that is gripping not just Marylanders, but Americans across this country. And from my perspective, if you can't afford your mortgage, gas, or groceries, little else matters. And so we know that as people are facing that, what I have seen, unfortunately, at the federal level is that we have passed policies that actually do the opposite of addressing the cost of living crisis that are facing Americans and Marylanders today. We've seen massive healthcare cuts, including a $1 trillion reduction in Medicaid spending. We've seen the expiration of ACA tax credits. That amounts, just to put it in perspective, that means for the average family in Maryland, they're going to see a tax hike because of those credits expiring of $4,700 a year. So as we're talking about, I know you all are considering, I think, a $40 credit to help with energy costs, and I'll get back to energy in a second, Mr. Chairman. Those who had the ACA tax credit and had that expire are going to see almost a $5,000 annual increase. So people are going to either choose to go without health care, or they're spending almost $500 more a month. So just putting that in perspective. We've seen the largest ever SNAP cut in history, $187 billion over the next 8 years. And we know that this is largely being done to help offset tax cuts that disproportionately affect the wealthiest Americans in this country. One of the largest wealth transfers from the working class and those in poverty to those with the most among us. In doing all of that, we didn't even lower the national debt. We're actually ballooning the national debt by $4 trillion in the process. So I just worry that we have done nothing of substance to actually address the cost of groceries, gas, housing, childcare. I know many of you are working on those issues. You all are looking at issues like energy as well. One big project that I'm alongside many of you on is being vocal in my opposition and concerns about the MPRP, the Maryland Piedmont Reliability Project. I've made those concerns clear to PSEG, PJM, and the Maryland Public Service Commission. Unfortunately, I have yet to hear any compelling justification from either PJM or PSEG. Not satisfied with their level of engagement with the community. I think their pushing of eminent domain is wrong as well. And so continue to press there. In fact, we had a small business subcommittee recently where I pressed the issue on whether or not it was fair that the energy is largely moving from Pennsylvania to help support data centers in Northern Virginia. I pressed on the fact that the $424 million price tag will be borne by Maryland ratepayers. And I have to say, I was surprised that the witnesses who were pushing for more data centers actually acknowledged the unfairness in the transmission line relative to what folks were trying to do and the lack of any real community benefit, especially losing farms. And so for those of you who represent Northern Baltimore County, I know that's impacted as well, in addition to Carroll County and Frederick County. So, and I say all that to just reinforce the point that I am willing to work with anyone, Democrat, Republican, to make progress for our constituents. I'm proud that the bills that we've passed so far, and I've passed several bills out of the House already, are all bipartisan, whether they're dealing with port security. We know that the Chinese Communist government actually had spy equipment on those cranes that came into the port of Baltimore. So I passed legislation with a colleague in Foreign Affairs, Bill Huizenga, Republican from Michigan. I worked with Roger Williams, the Republican chairman of our Small Business Committee, to pass a bill to better connect education CTE graduates with businesses following their completion. We have passed legislation to strengthen diplomacy. I've made friends with Democrats and Republicans alike on the congressional baseball field. We're hosting bipartisan social gatherings because we need to understand that we can compromise without compromising our values, and we have to find a way forward with all that this country is facing. So I hope that you all have found that to be the case. Our office is open to all of you. Look forward to our continued partnership in the years to come. And I wanted to also just make sure I left some time for questions today as well, Mr. Chairman, but I appreciate the work that you all are doing. It is really important work. And with that, I will conclude and say thanks again for your service, and happy to take any questions you all may have.
Thank you so much. I think the Orioles looking for utility infielder if your baseball stuff is going well.
I actually got put in the outfield, and I had never played before in my life. So I had 2 practices when the coach said, "Let's go try an outfield." So we'll see how that
Very
goes
well
moving
done. It's
forward.
nice to have a familiar face come talk to us, and we're happy to have you here. We got a bunch of veterans. Most of us are serving our 4th year at least. I don't see any hands up for questions, but I'm going to wait a second, see if anybody wants to weigh in. Echo. Sorry, we're trying to figure out. I'm echoing on mine, so we're trying to figure out why that's true.
You're not echoing to me, so.
Okay, so it's just me if I can ignore it. Thanks. Excellent. I appreciate that. I don't see any questions, and so we're happy to have you here. We also know that you're available. You know, this isn't the only access we have. If we have questions about things that are going on at the federal level and what we can do to help. Well, wait,
thank you.
I'm out. I do see a hand. Bob Long has raised his metaphoric hand. Delegate Long.
Bob is on mute. Delegate Long is on mute.
Yes, I know.
Okay. All right. I'm actually on my phone because I couldn't get my computer to work. Anyway, good morning.
Good morning.
I actually asked our county executive about midge funding because you know what's happening at Baltimore County and the state, and you know what kind of problems we're having down here, and we'd just like to find out, to reach out to you about federal funding, if you could help us out.
Sure. I will have Chris follow up with you, Delegate Long. I appreciated you and the delegation being such great partners when I was county executive. As you know, and as the delegation probably knows, that was a fight that had gotten stalled under the prior administration. They just couldn't figure it out. And I was proud to come in. I believe we actually started working with Governor Hogan to figure out that state-local partnership. I don't know what the status of that is between the state and local government currently, but we're happy to explore federal support as well. Again, as you know, right, Delegate Long, that the marinas and the businesses along Back River were being absolutely decimated by the midge swarms. It was just really impossible to really own a marina, to have outside dining. And so I looked at it as an economic development imperative that, you know, we're really wasting this waterfront gem that we have in Baltimore County by not doing something about the midge population. So I thought we had a great solution. We even had moved into treating it in the wastewater treatment plant, but happy to continue to explore on my end, and hopefully both the county executive and the governor now are looking for ways to ensure that funding continues, because it's so critical. And thank you again for you and the delegation's leadership.
We appreciate it. It's very important that we keep these under control. You well know. You know the effects they have. Thank you.
And I did see Delegate Ruth's hand up. I think she's going to tell me that you can hear me echoing.
That's correct.
But that's the end of that. What I'm going to do is I think we're going to move into bill hearings. I don't see any other questions. I'm going to disconnect and put the vice chair in charge after we announce the first bill for bill hearings. But Congressman, thank you so much for being here.
Mr. Chairman, thank you.
You're welcome to hang around and watch the very exciting proceedings as they go forward if you want, but you can also turn around and read some of those really great books that you have behind you there.
Sounds great. Thanks again, everybody. Take care, and good luck the rest of the session.
All right. Oh, it might have been connected to him. How do you like that? Am I echoing now? Is anyone hearing me? Are we clear? Okay, good.
You're clear.
We can hear you.
Problem solved. We got rid of the congressman. All right, so we'll now move into bill hearings. Several of the bills have a similar push, and although they're listed in the agenda in a certain order, I think we're going to start with House Bill 581, Delegate Long, if that's okay with you, because that bill has to do with elections, and the other three are all tax bills. Are you able to pivot and do 581 first for us, please?
Absolutely. I can pivot anytime I need to. Thank you.
And then after you pivot, you can either dish it off or shoot. It's up to you. Okay. There you go.
I don't know what that means, but okay. Anyway, I actually had a field visit to the Board of Elections, Baltimore County Board of Elections. And one of the things that I've been very concerned about is absentee ballots coming in and the security of them. There's really no checks and balances that would check to make sure that whoever's sending these in are actually the people that are signing the ballots, unfortunately, and sometimes they're not. All right. We've even heard incidences where they come in to vote absentee ballot. I mean, they didn't receive their absentee ballot. They come in and had to get a they had to come in to vote in person. The absentee ballot, I just feel like there's lack of security there. I mean, it goes from the post office to the home, from the home back to either hopefully a drop box or back through the postal service. And I just don't believe that there's a level of security there that makes those ballots secure enough to, send a clear message that this is a, good way to do absentee ballots. Anyway, my signature verification, Baltimore County has a machine that could verify the signatures on the envelopes as they come in. And that's what this bill is all about. It's a pilot program. I like to see how it works. And you know what? I'm hoping that all the signatures are verified, that everything's copacetic, and there's no problems. But we need to make sure that our elections are, fraud-free and easy as possible to vote. And that's what this bill is based on. And also active duty military members serving overseas would be exempt, and also their spouses if they're overseas.
Well, thank you, Delegate Long. We don't have anyone signed up to testify, so I'm looking to see if anyone has any questions about the bill. Yes, Delegate Allen, thank you for raising your hand.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Delegate Long, thank you for the bill, and thank you for pointing out the military the aspect of it. I'm just curious, do you know the practicality of that aspect? I understand the bill exempts military and their family who are voting absentee from overseas, but how do we know that that ballot that's returned is coming from someone overseas that's military? Like, how do we know to exempt them?
That's a good question. I mean, I was just thinking it would be easier that, we just wanted to make sure our veterans, our people that's deployed overseas could vote. I mean, I wouldn't have no problem amending it to do signature verification for them also. And I don't really think there's going to be a problem with overseas. I think it's more local. Excuse me. Going to be more of a problem local. And, we've heard about ballots showing up at the wrong addresses, and we don't know if it's just people sending those in that's actually supposed to be voting. I mean, I just want to make sure they're voting the way we vote is secure, and it's the most purest form that we can. And that's what this is for.
I understand, and I appreciate the intent. I'm just saying from a practical perspective, because this is the signature verification was largely done by machines. So how does that machine know that this ballot coming in is from a military service member who's overseas and it doesn't need signature verification? I guess is my question.
That's a good question. I don't know. I never thought about that. But the signature verification is, like I said, the machine has the capability of doing that. I don't think that the servicemen overseas have, there's nothing particular about their ballot that stands out. It used to be the only absentee ballots was service people overseas and people that couldn't make it to the polls. Now everybody's voting absentee, and that's where the problem started coming in. We're concerned about security. And they do cure ballots if there's a problem.
Right, that's what I was going to say. Is that at least in the state of Maryland?
I'm sorry,
Go ahead.
They do have a way of secure.
I was just saying, right. That was my concern.
Right, they do have a way of curing a ballot.
Okay, thank you. Delegate Allen, assuming that you've exhausted your questions there, I see Delegate Forbes with a question.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Delegate Long, thanks for bringing the bill, but I had a question. Aren't we putting Baltimore County voters at a disadvantage, or putting an extra restriction on Baltimore County voters that we're not doing across the state if this is a Baltimore County bill?
No. Well, the thing of it is, it should be done throughout the state. Unfortunately, all the different jurisdictions don't have the capability of doing signature verification. This is what I was told. Baltimore County has it. That's why this is a pilot program, and it's not going to disadvantage anyone. If anything, it's going to make sure Baltimore County residents ballots sent in are secured and it's their ballots. And, that's why this is a pilot program and I'd like to see it, implemented in Baltimore County.
Thank you for the answer, but I have a problem with this one set of restrictions being put in Baltimore County when it's not in other election boards throughout the state.
Right. Well, I appreciate that. And again, the reason we did a statewide one once before, but the thing of it is a lot of the a lot of the different jurisdictions didn't have the capability of doing signature verification. We do. That's why I would like to see it take place. It's the bottom line is it's not going to affect anyone's voting privilege. If anything, it's going to protect them and make sure it's their ballots being sent in. It's verified. And that's what this is all about, making sure security for our votes, absentee ballots are secured. Thank you.
Thank you. I have a quick question for county government. The sponsor is saying that our elections board is ramped up and would be ready to do this. Are we unique? Do we have that ability? And are we unique in the state in having that ability?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At this time, can you hear me, Mr. Chairman?
Can't hear you.
You're a little muted. Just maybe turn up your mic volume a little bit.
All right.
Turn something.
Are you able to hear me now?
It's not easy, but we can understand you.
Let me do this.
Okay, give it a try.
Apologies for the technical difficulties.
There you are. You're in. You're very clear.
Apologies for the technical difficulties. But thank you, Mr. Chairman, for your question. At this time, our Board of Election did let us know that we are unable to do this. The way it would have to be done is we would have to sync our voter registrations are synced to the state registration system. And at that time, we would have to sync our system to the state system just to even verify that this is the actual signature of the voter that is on the absentee ballot. Again, as Delegate Long did mention, we do have a process on how we verify our absentee ballots. It is with a voter signature that is enclosed in the ballot. And that is how it is accepted. If there is no signature, it is rejected. But at this moment, we are told by a Board of Elections that we are unable to actually implement this at the time.
Thank you. All right, that was my only question about process there. Are there any other questions from delegates? Okay. Yes, the sponsor, you want to
Yes.
weigh in?
Yes, I was told that we had the a machine there that would actually do signature verification. The only thing is it would have to be, I don't know what process would be to link the voter rolls the voter signatures with it. I mean, we have the capability. And I think we should explore this even more because, like I said, I want to make sure our elections are secured. That's bottom line. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions that would ask of the sponsor or the county? Okay, seeing none, that ends the hearing on House Bill 581. We're now going to continue the Longapalooza today. We're going to go to House Bill 579. Delegate Long, you have the House, I should read the title. House Bill 579, Property Tax Partial Exemption and Credits for Seniors. Delegate Long.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I brought this bill. I've talked about property taxes and what we need to do to protect our homeowners, especially now with electricity rates being skyrocketing, assessment values going out the roof. It's one thing after another. And our seniors that are on fixed incomes, we need to protect them to make sure that they can remain in their houses as long as they possibly can. And what this bill would do would be cap the current tax bill and actually would lower their assessment by $50,000. Our seniors are having a tough time. I mean, I hear it all the time. They're trying to make a difference, trying to make a decision whether they want to, pay their gas and electric bill, buy food, or their medicine. And when we work hard all our lives, and we decide we want to retire, we shouldn't have to do that. And, the county has the money. I mean, I wouldn't see where they wouldn't have it. I mean, we just give Trade Point Atlantic a big tax break. How about let's give the seniors a tax break? And that's what this is about. When I heard that, like I said, I had several seniors call me saying they had to make a decision what they wanted to do with, which bill they were going to pay this month. Shouldn't have to live like that. Not in this great country. It's not acceptable. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. I have just one quick question. I haven't had a good look at the bill. Is this a mandatory tax exclusion for Baltimore County residents by the government, or is it enabling for the county?
It's mandatory. I mean, we can make it, we could change it if we needed to, but I would prefer to leave it just the way it is. The county council, I believe, would have the ability, I don't know. Anyway, it's mandatory. Yes, sir.
Thanks. Yeah, it wasn't an opinion. I just wanted a clarification. Thank you. County government has asked to be able to comment on this bill, and so I will turn to them at this point.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good morning again to the delegation members. Delegate Long, thank you for bringing this bill and the intent behind this bill. At the time, the county government is in opposition of HB 579. Again, as stated before, this bill does apply a state mandate on the county that would reduce our property tax collections. So there is a significant fiscal impact. We don't have the exact extent, but if the county were to exempt the first $50,000 of assessed property value, it immediately reduces our property tax collections by $550 for each qualified property. And the number of qualified properties at this time is unknown. But according to our 2024 census community survey, it has estimated that about 19.1% of the county's population is aged 65 or older. With simple calculations, if we do take that 19.1% of the county's 856,000 residents, and we can estimate around 162,600 potential eligible properties, which would result in a roughly $44 million property tax revenue loss for the county. So at this time, the county does request the House delegation provide an unfavorable report for HB 579. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Well, and thank you very much. Give the sponsor a chance to respond.
Yeah, thank you very much for that information. That's just 19. I think she said 19% of Baltimore County seniors. That just proves that we need to make sure that we protect our seniors and they can stay in their homes. Bottom line is Baltimore County, like everyone else, needs to tighten their belt. We have a budget. We should be able to tighten that in, rein it in, and try to give tax relief for property tax owners. I live on a budget. We all have to live on a budget. And now, given with the restrictions of the gas and electric, and like I said, food and medications going up, it's even more critical that we make sure we take care of our seniors so they can stay in their homes and live the rest of their lives in peace. And, it really bothers me. I actually had a woman tell me she had a choice at the end of the month. Was she going to buy food or was she going to buy cat food? That's just unacceptable in this country. Thank you.
Okay, and thank you. I don't see any other questions from the delegation. And so that will conclude the hearing on House Bill 579. We will now continue with our guest sponsor, the wonderful sponsor today, with Bob Long's bill, House Bill 602. This is transfer tax exemption for first-time home buyers. Delegate Long, you have the floor once again.
Well, thank you. Maybe I should share with you my expertise in real estate. I've been in real estate for over 40 years. The real estate market right now, I've never seen anything like it. And the reason why is because of escalating cost of taxes, electric, and everything else. The average age for a new property owner is 45 years old. That being said, we need to do whatever we can to get the first-time home buyers back into buying houses. Interest rates now are even 7%. I was selling more houses when I was actively selling houses when it was 13%. People are just not buying. They can't afford it. I mean, they're just barely, trying to get enough money to, pay the rent and stuff. And this would be a help. And, the thing of it is, if this helps more buyers come into the market, we might be losing a little bit of revenue in the shortfall, but in the long run, we'd be stabilizing our neighborhoods, getting the first-time home buyers into homes, which is wealth building, generational wealth building, which we all know about and we've talked about. And, I think we should be on the forefront of getting our real estate market back up and running. And I just thought this would be a unique way of doing that. And I'd ask for a favorable vote.
Thank you. And same question at the top. Is this a mandatory tax change, or is it enabling for the county?
It's mandatory.
Thanks for the clarification. I don't see any questions from delegates, but the county is once again asked to be recognized so that they can weigh in on this bill since it affects them directly. Ms. Tuasa J.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And again, good morning, delegation members. Thank you, Delegate Long, again for bringing this bill. We understand the intent behind it, but at the time, the county is again in opposition of HB 602. As mentioned, as stated before, this bill is mandatory legislation, a state mandated legislation for the county. And the exact number of first-time homebuyers in the county is unknown, but we did have an estimate given to us from DLS that it is about 25% of the transactions per year. So in FY25, our title transfer revenue totaled about $79 million in revenue. And FY26 is on track to be a bit a pace ahead of that. So at this time, the county would request the House delegation to provide an unfavorable report on HB 579 due to the significant revenue loss that we would endure from this bill. Thank you for your time, Mr. Chair.
Thank you for being here and thank you for your testimony. And now that has prompted a question from Delegate White Holland. Good morning.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Chair, and thank you again, Delegate Long, for bringing this bill. And my question is for the county, more specifically, because, and again, I hear the argument related to the revenue loss, but it also makes me wonder if the bill were to be enabling. At one point in time, I think about my family. I was a first-time home buyer at one time and took advantage of all of the Maryland programs that we have available. This was about 15 years ago, but just thinking about the affordability crisis that many are facing, as the delegate elevated, if this were to be enabling legislation instead of mandatory, would there be would that soften your opposition or reconsider your stance, or would it still be the same?
Thank you, Delegate Holland, for the question. At the time, I cannot give you a definite answer. As stated in our testimony, we do have an estimate that 25% of the first-time homebuyers in the county, that 25% of transactions of first-time homebuyers in the county for that year. So as that may fluctuate, we don't necessarily have an exact number. What I could provide for you is going back to our Office of Budget and Finance to see if there are some ways that this could, if enabling, if we are more, lenient to actually having this go through. But at the time, I can't give you an exact number due to we don't have an exact count of how many first-time homebuyers we get throughout the county in 1 year.
That's very fair. And Mr. Chair, if I may have a follow-up.
Yes, please. Thank you for asking.
Yes. So, and again, this would, of course, have to be in discussion with the bill sponsor, but it also makes me wonder, well, what could a pilot look like where there would be, if it was a pilot in a smaller universe of individuals, certain criteria, it also, I just throw that out there, and I would also invite the bill sponsor to consider that if possible, just to see how families who would be first-time home buyers could potentially afford a home. So again, I only raise that and see if that could also be considered to the county paired with the enabling legislation as well, and see if a pilot could even be possible here. I'm just trying to think about other ways that it could potentially work. And if there is any appetite for further discussion on that.
So she directed that question generally in the county's direction. It was a pretty large hypothetical, but you're welcome to weigh in if you'd like.
And I'm willing to sit, oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Delegate Long.
I'm willing to sit down
We'll
and
defer to the
negotiate.
sponsor here, yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm willing to sit down and negotiate to see if we can work this out. Anything we can do to help first-time home buyers getting their homes. I mean, there's nothing like, I don't know how many homeowners we have online, but I mean, when you own your own home, it's just nothing like having your own sticks and bricks. I mean, it's your pride. And, you know, we're, like I said, we're seeing a lot of young people that can't afford, and anything we do to help get them back in the market would be, you know, appreciated. Baltimore County should be first in line to make sure we get people back into buying houses.
Thank you. And the question was generally pitched in your direction. So Ms. Tussage, if you want to answer, you can.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Delegate Long and Delegate Holland, for your willingness to work with the county. At this time, I cannot give you a straight answer of where we will sway if this becomes enabling legislation or a pilot, but what I can guarantee you is that we are more than willing to work with you all to see what we can do for our first-time homebuyers and residents in Baltimore County. Again, I do want to level set. I cannot give you a direct yes or no, but we are more than happy to have the conversation. Thank you.
Thank you. I see Delegate Ruth has her hand up. Delegate Ruth, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Chair. May I ask a question of council?
Absolutely. That's why they're here. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So if I'm not mistaken, and I Charity, want to ask if you know if I'm correct, that the transfer tax for first-time home buyers is half of the normal transfer tax and that it's paid by the seller. Am I remembering that right?
Yes, it's half. It's 0.5%, and it's paid by the seller.
Thank you.
If I might.
Sure, Delegate.
Yeah, state, there is a tax. I mean, there is some leeway with the state property taxes and property. I mean, I'm sorry. There's leeway with the state portion of it. The county portion is actually negotiable, and it can be split. Or it can be the buyer can pay for all. I mean, the seller can pay for all of it. I mean, there's all kinds of different ways it can be done. Bottom line is you know, to get a seller to agree with a buyer if they can buy a house. So if, you know, if they get a credit for the recordation tax, it would help the buyers. And you know, it is, like I said, it is negotiable. Normally they do. Well, I don't want to say normally. It is negotiable. But
yes.
You know. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And I see Charity doing that thing that the folks from DLS do that's to me miraculous. Reading code real quick so she can answer a question. I saw her. So do you want to weigh in any further on the answer to that question?
No, I don't have anything else to add.
Okay, I can see you studying there. It astounds me to watch it happen. I see Delegate Ruth has her hand back up, so she wants to have a follow-up. Go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. And just I really was quickly looked it up while that conversation was going on, and I do see in Article Tax Property, Section 13-203. B, it says, notwithstanding any other provision of law for a sale of improved residential real property to a first-time Maryland home buyer who will occupy the property as a principal residence, the rate of the transfer tax is 0.25%, which is half of the normal 0.5%, of the consideration payable for the instrument of writing, and the transfer tax shall be paid entirely by the seller.
Thank you. That's just informational, and I appreciate that.
And
You obviously also have some miraculous skills. Well done. Okay.
It's an area of the code I've been in.
Yeah, yeah, that does help when you know what page, yeah, where it is somewhere. But good work. Thank you for reading that to us.
Well, Delegate Ruth, I would like to have a continued conversation offline about this.
That's a great idea. I believe this probably will end up in front of the chair of the Community Affairs Subcommittee. And so it'd be highly relevant. All right, I don't see any other delegates with their hands up on this one, and so we will conclude this, not bill hearings, but conclude the Bob Long section of our bill hearings with House Bill 603, Homestead Property Tax Credits percentage. Delegate Long, you have the floor.
Thank you. And believe it or not, I actually dropped these bills at different times because I didn't want them all come in at one time, but that's all right. I've got big shoulders, I can carry it. Anyway, we've talked about this last year. I would like to see this property taxes being frozen at their current rate because of the assessed values, and we can agree to disagree, are, I believe, is really not representing the market, today's market. And the county does have a way of raising property taxes. If they want to do the constant yield rate, they can raise the constant yield rate. Don't let them work on their budgets a little closer. And that's what this is for. We don't want every time someone sells a house, assessed value goes up. And the three.
Let me see if I can.
I'm sorry. Hello? Am I there?
We had somebody unmuted. We've taken care of it, sir.
Oh, okay. Anyway, getting back to it, we'd like to freeze property taxes. Is like I said, we've seen skyrocketing property taxes. We've seen skyrocketing gas and electric. I mean, it's got to be a time we need to stop. I mean, we're going to get people so upside down on their mortgages and everything else because of just all the different costs. We need to stop. And one of the things that we need to do is make sure Baltimore County lives within their means, just like everyone else. They don't have to at this point because they get a increase every year on their budget because of the way the system's set up. That's why I would like to see it frozen and then let them work on their budget. And if they need to raise more revenue, raise the constant yield rate, be forward with it and be open and transparent. If you ask Baltimore County, they'll say to you, we haven't raised the property tax rate in 35 years. Well, that's right. They haven't, but they haven't lowered it either. So that's what this is all about. Make sure we can ring in our taxes and, maybe if we ring in the tax revenue a little bit, maybe the county will rein in their spending. And we have to. People are just at wit's end with what they're paying. I mean, I hear it all the time from property owners, the property taxes. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you, Delegate Long. Same clarifying question at the top for me, please. Mandatory or enabling?
No, it's mandatory. I mean, we can talk about it if you want to.
No,
talk.
I'm not taking a position. I just wanted to clarify that part of the bill. It's significant and it will help people to think it through. Again, the county has, because this would affect them directly, has asked if they could weigh in on this bill. I don't see any delegates' hands up. So, Ms. Twesta, you have the floor.
Thank you again, Mr. Chair. And again, thank you, Delegate Long, for bringing this bill. We understand your intent behind it to help our residents throughout Baltimore County. But at this time, the county is in opposition of HB 603. As stated before in the delegate's testimony, this imposes a state mandate on the county, which would also reduce our property tax collections. Again, this bill has significant revenue loss, but it will also take away our autonomy that other jurisdictions may also maintain in this process. So in FY26, the county's homestead tax credit totaled $43 million. And this would result ultimately in a $43 million revenue loss that will be sustainable for the next few years. So at this time, the county does request the House delegation provide an unfavorable report on HB 579. Thank you again, Mr. Chair.
And thank you. I'll give the sponsor a chance to respond.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you for your input. Just sitting here thinking, the county can raise the constant yield rate if they would like. A lot of people don't know how it works, but you can actually raise your constant yield rate to deal with their budget. And that way we'd be a whole lot more transparent. One of the things that I've heard over and over again, we can't give homeowners a tax break. We get Trade Point Atlantic a 50-year tax exemption on property. I mean, we have to start thinking about our residents. Again, I would appreciate whatever we could do to help out. And like I said, Trade Point Atlantic got a big tax break, and I think the property tax owners of Baltimore County deserve the same thing. Thank you.
And thank you for your response. I don't see any delegates asking to be recognized, and so that will conclude the hearing on House Bill 803. We now come to House Bill 732.
Mr. Chair, you're muted.
I got it. Thank you. I'm going to pass the gavel across to the Vice Chair. This is a bill that I'm sponsoring. So, Madam Vice Chair, would you take the metaphoric gavel, please?
I have it, Chair Eversole, thank you. So I am now going to call on Delegate Eversole to talk about House Bill 732, and we do have a witness after him. Chair Eversole.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. Give me a second here. I got a lot of people texting me, and I have the important information on my text message here. Just give me one moment if you will bear with me. Thank you. Okay. This House Bill 732 is a bill that was given to me by request of the county government. This bill is essentially a technical bill. Every 10 years, Baltimore County must update its local code. Because it is a charter county, there are express powers delegated to them by the General Assembly. Because their code or any supplements contain laws enacted by the General Assembly, when they update their code every 10 years, the General Assembly has to approve the updated code. This Senate bill does this, and it provides that approval and reflects the same language in action that we took back in 2015. A few of us might actually remember that. I was racking my brain to remember that, but I was a wide-eyed freshman and probably didn't really notice it going by. But when the code was last updated. And so I urge a favorable report on this to help county government. I have not only had Pam Casemeyer, Ms. Casemeyer has told me this is necessary, checked in with a few of my council members to make sure that they felt like this was something, since this is a kind of a rookie area for me. So I urge a favorable report on this bill. I have brought, Ms. Casemeyer will be happy. I think this is what you just heard is something that she gave me to read, which describes it. And so I'm happy if she wants to add something. Or
thank you, Delegate Eversole. I'll call on your witness.
Thank you.
So I do bring on Ms. Casemeyer, who is a witness and who may have much more to say. So Ms. Casemeyer, you have the floor.
Well, fortunately, and hello, delegation members. It's a pleasure to be before you. And fortunately, I don't have a lot more to say. Thank you, Delegate Ebersol, Chair Ebersol. This really, truly is a technical bill. We are required every year to update the code, and the General Assembly has to acknowledge that and confirm that our it's in line with theirs. It's exactly the same language that's been utilized about every 10 years. So we are hopeful you will move this forward. If you have any questions now or later, please reach out to us. But again, it is really a technical bill.
Thank you, Ms. Casemeyer. Do we have any questions? I don't see any hands. I don't see any hands. All right, no hands. Thank you, Delegate Eversole, for bringing this up. Am I missing a hand? I see a hand floating around. I might be floating it. Okay. Having no hands raised, then I will close this discussion on House Bill 732. Thank you again, Delegate Eversole. And now I'm going to throw that gavel right back to you. Boom.
And I will duck appropriately. Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. This concludes the hearing portion of our meeting. We will now move into voting. We have two bills for voting. First, we have House Bill, I'm going to reverse the order here and go numerically. House Bill 121, Baltimore County Alcoholic Beverages Sale for Off-Premises Consumption. This is a bill that was presented to us by Delegate Schlegel. I want to say at the top that if we move favorable on a bill, it is implied that there will be an amendment to change the sponsor to Baltimore County delegation. And to this, I turn to the chair of the Alcohol Subcommittee, Delegate Phillips.
Good morning, colleagues. Good morning, Chair. The Alcohol Subcommittee met, reviewed, and unanimously recommend the adoption of House Bill 121. Thank Delegate Shalega for bringing this bill.
So I need you to make a motion.
I move that the
Favor.
delegation approve House Bill 121.
Okay,
Second.
committee
Second.
chair has moved favorable. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, moved and properly seconded. Is there any discussion on the bill? Seeing none, we'll move to a vote. I believe this one can be done by voice vote. All those in favor of the bill, raise your hand, please. Or if you're not on camera, shout in.
Mr.
Put your
Chairman,
hand up.
I'm
Thank
sorry,
you.
Mr.
Mr.
Chairman,
Chair, someone's calling.
I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
Out of abundance of caution, I needed to abstain from this vote. That's all I wanted to let you know.
Okay, thank you. And I was going to call for anybody against, so you could have got in there. So I see a bunch of hands. Delegate Mangione has already indicated that he is going to abstain from voting on this bill. I'm looking for anyone who would like to vote against this bill. Please speak up at this time. Hearing none, we pass it nearly unanimously. And this bill will then be forwarded to the proper committee with the amendment for change of sponsor. Next bill we have for voting is House Bill 388. This is Baltimore County Public Library collective bargaining for supervisory employees. We need to turn to the chair of the Education Subcommittee, Chair Forbes.
Thank you, Chair Ebersol. The Education Subcommittee met and considered HB 388, a Baltimore County Public Library bill that would give collective bargaining rights to supervisory employees in Baltimore County. The vote was favorable, 3-1, move favorably.
Thank you. I have a favorable motion on the bill. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Is there any further discussion on the bill before we move to a vote?
Mr. Chair, Delegate
Yes,
Metzger here.
thank you, Delegate Metzger. You have the floor, sir.
My camera has not been working all morning, but I've been here all morning, so I just
And that's a big disappointment to us because we love your countenance, sir, but we will survive.
Okay.
Do you want to make a comment on the bill, sir?
No, I just wanted to let you know I was here because
Thank you.
If you're going to do a roll call, you wouldn't see me.
Well, that's true. Thank you for letting me know. Is there any discussion on the bill at this time? All right, so we're going to do a roll call. Oh, I'm sorry, Delegate Cardin. I see the hand in the corner.
Yeah,
Sir.
I just want to say that I'm having, if I can't see Delegate Metzger, I'm not sure how I can vote on this bill, but I think
I'm feeling the same sense of emptiness that you are. Okay.
I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out.
Very good. All right. I do know that we have some dissent, so we are going to call a roll call vote on this. On the favorable motion on House Bill 388 as written, Vice Chair Pasteur.
Yes.
Secretary Allen.
Yes.
Delegate Bendari. Is he online?
I just see his picture.
Okay. Delegate Bendari, are you there, please, for a vote? I generally don't like to do this and come back, but we're not going to waste our time here. Delegate Cardin.
Yes.
Delegate Forbes.
Yes.
Delegate Grammer.
No.
Delegate Guyton.
Yes.
Delegate Jones is excused. Delegate Long.
No, and I'd like to explain my vote.
Yeah, let's wait until we're complete, and then after that, if you don't mind, sir. Delegate Mangione.
No.
No. Delegate McCaskill.
Yes.
Delegate Metzger.
No.
Delegate Naraki.
No.
Delegate Phillips.
Yes.
Delegate Ross.
Yes.
Delegate Ruth.
Yes.
Delegate Stein.
Yes.
Delegate Shalega.
No.
And Delegate White.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to try one more time. Delegate Mandari, are you present to vote? Okay, well, it made it close, but I count, and Mr. Secretary, I count 11 votes for the favorable motion. Do you agree with that count?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay, 11 is a constitutional majority, And so the delegation moves favorable on the bill. We will send the bill to the proper committee with an amendment changing the sponsor to Baltimore County delegation. Thank you all. I think that brings us to the end. We had a little, I jumped the gun and decided we'd have a picture, but some people are a little more attentive to their looks than I am, perhaps. And so we're going to wait a week so you can get yourselves together for next week's picture. I'm so pleased that we can include Delegate Ross in our group picture next week that we post online and post in various places like that. I will also say that part of the procedure today was to go to the committee chair for a motion, but bills can also be amended by us. And so if you think you're going to have an amendment on a bill that is being brought for a vote, it's important that you let me know in advance so that I can delay the motion by the committee chair in case we want to add amendments to a bill so that I'm up to date and ready to go. Charity, you look like you're raising your hand there for me for a second on that commentary.
I just wanted to follow up if you need an amendment to reach out to me and not to the amendment office.
Correct. That's right. Thanks for reminding me. She can do the amendments. She understands the bills intimately since they're hanging around with us, and she can do them pretty fast, but try not to ask her at 8 o'clock the night before. And that's an extreme example, but really if you can get it a day or two before to her so that she can, because she has to have her amendments reviewed before she brings them. So it takes a couple of steps, but please, if you have amendments to a bill that you want to offer, the best thing to do is to try to offer them in the subcommittee. But if you have them that you want to offer at the last minute, please make sure that I'm aware before we go to voting. With that, we are
Mr.
done.
Chair.
We're done
Mr. Chair,
one
I'm
whole
sorry,
hour early.
Mr. Chair, I'm sorry, I could not unmute it because of technical reason.
Yeah,
I would
it's
vote
not
for
going to
the
change
bill.
the vote, Delegate Bhandari, but we already closed the voting on this bill, so I don't
But
see
I
how
would vote for the bill.
I
Thank you.
appreciate that. However, procedurally, I closed the vote on this bill after waiting for you. So
Thank you.
you will not be recorded on this vote, but we appreciate that you would have supported the bill. Delegate Rocky, you got a hand up there.
Yes, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to reaffirm my thanks that I sent via text for us to get a week together. I'm already working on getting myself together for next Friday, so I really appreciate that.
I know, man. You look great to me. Okay. I can do an in-person look on the floor if you'd like my get-go on that. All right, everyone. Thank you very much. I see us finishing at 9:59. You'll have an hour to get breakfast or a cup of coffee. Enjoy your day. Thank everyone for their alacrity in working on everything, and we'll see you next week.